Welcome to the Fail Fast podcast. Today, we have an amazing guest who was the CSO of a $100 billion company. He's a subject matter expert in chemical, pharma, biotech manufacturing, finance, bioenergy, nanotechnology, machine learning, and big data. We have with us today Srinivas. How's it going?
Fine, thank you, Quinn, and fine. Good morning or good day to all of you listening to the podcast.
So you have what an amazing resume you have. You've worked with Tata Group, and you've been CSO. You've been CEO of some really big companies like the Renmatix.
Right.
You were the founder, CEO as well. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Right. So I'm a PhD in chemical engineering and a CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst. I have about 25 years experience in chemical, bioenergy, and in AI machine learning. I have about 25 plus worldwide patents and 20 more pending. And basically, I've been in 5 startups, apart from my stints in corporate world. And one startup, 2 of them went to US IPO, where one I was the chief technology officer, one I was the chief advisor. 2 got acquired, and 1 didn't go well. And so I've seen the good, bad, and the ugly side of startup world. And basically, I was also, as Quinn rightly said, chief scientific officer of Tata Group, and I was also the chief executive officer of Reliance Industries. Reliance Industries is the other $100 billion company, $100 billion company of India, the second pillar of Indian economy. So I was heading the bioenergy group of Reliance and science and knowledge management of Tata.
Nice. That's really impressive. And I know you had a few successful IPOs with over $100 million raised.
Right.
And one of them included a green shoe. Do you want to explain for the ones that don't know what does that mean?
Right. So green shoe typically means that it was the offering was oversubscribed many times. So basically the demand was far more than the supply of the securities offered. So SEC allows a certain percentage of the excess money to be allocated automatically and excess shares to be given. This process is called the green shoe, which means that you basically, let's say you're allocated 2 million shares, that 4 million shares are subscribed to, then 8 to 10%, 20%, depending upon what the SEC allows, you can automatically allocate without having to go for a new SEC ruling or a prospectus and so on. That's a green shoe.
Oh, okay.
It typically means that your paper was in high demand. Your offering was in high demand. That's a good sign.
And is that the one that you got investments for some big people like Bill Gates, John Doer, Bill Joy? Was that it?
No, the one before that. So the one with the Bill Gates, Bill Joy, that got acquired by a consortium of big chemical companies. So so I took an exit in 2012. So that was big names, really. Bill Joy, John Doer, if you're aware of, is the first investors of Google, Amazon, Intel, and so on. And Bill Joy was the founder of Sun, and Bill Gates, everybody knows. So yeah, they're all big investors of my company. I'm part of it.
Yes. So that all seems very good, but there had to have been some failures along the way. Is there one in particular that you want to talk about?
Right. So the one I would like to talk about is the company. The failure I would call relatively failure is Gelato, a company I founded in 2000 to do expert systems for engineering. The whole idea was to make engineering simple, fast, easy, and because engineering takes a long time, and the technology was very successful for that time, was ahead of its time. The good news was that I actually got an offer from a subsidiary of Coca-Cola for an acquisition or incubation. I forget which one was that, but it was 6 days before September 11, 2001, and nobody knew what was going to happen, so I said no. And 6 days later, September 11th happened, and next 2 years, we all know nothing happened much in the US or in the world, and startups can't survive that long a period without funding, without sales. So I was basically forced to fire sell company to a company in India. So the lesson I learned from that was that, look, you can't wait for the most perfect exit. Sometimes opportunities come to you and you take it and get out and then restart rather than to lose the whole game altogether. So that's a big lesson learned. And my subsequent companies, I actually took it pretty seriously what I learned from Dilato. And in fact, the reason why I keep my personal email still dilato2000@yahoo.com is to always remind me of that one thing which didn't click well, because you get a lot of successes and you forget the failures, and sometimes that can haunt you. So it's always good to be put your feet on the ground and make sure that you're grounded and you take both success and failure in the same stride.
Yes, that's very good. Never forget your big failures. And a question that I have for you, I've seen that you have, you said, over 20 patents. All of these patents are in your own name or company names?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're all my name allocated to the companies or respective companies I've worked for.
Very good. And seeing that you also have a patent on cement. Is that for cement in general, or what does it specify?
Yeah, so basically this is a very interesting technology. So this cement, cement is made at 1,500 degrees centigrade in a huge kiln. So I was able to generate a technology using nanotechnology. This is very fast. A technology to make cement at what should be 200 degrees centigrade, 1,200 degrees lower temperature without a kiln. So when I actually told this to a senior vice president at Holcim, which is the world's biggest cement company, they thought I was drunk. And they actually fell down from the chair. It must be crazy. Nobody could make cement without a kiln. And 3 years later, they actually invested in the same company and took over the technology. So basically, from being total skeptics, they became to investors and acquirers. So the technology is based on nanotechnology. It actually produces cement in virtually less than a minute, instantaneously, at a fraction of temperature, energy. And I'm not sure if many of the viewers or the listeners know that cement plants are the second most polluting plants in the world after coal power projects. And cement produces 6% of the world's greenhouse gases. So a substantial reduction in that would actually make a lot of difference to the greenhouse gases, though our current president may differ from, but there is definitely a connection between greenhouse gases and global warming.
That's incredible. And it looks like since then, now you've diversified and, pardon me, you founded and you are now the CEO of a brand new company, or brand new, that I guess you started in the last 4 years.
Yeah, 3 years, 3 to 4 years, right.
And that's Dixology.
DXology, yeah, or Dixology, yeah.
DXI.
It's more like a DXology, right. So science of DXI. So it's like geology, it's the science of DXI. The DXI stands for Digital Experience Index, and Logy stands for science of that.
So what is this, what is DXI then, the Digital Experience Index?
Right. So DXI stands for a proprietary algorithm, which I and my partner, David Dodds, co-invented, which can actually measure and quantify. The most important part is quantify the subjective behavior of every visitor on a website or a mobile app or a social media. So if you go to a website, every person has a different level of engagement, different experience. Some people like it, some don't like it, some buy, some don't buy, some see different things, some search, some leave, some curse, some are overjoyed. So basically, there were only two ways of finding out of that before DXI. One was through a survey. We always get a 4C survey or something, and most people don't do the survey. And whoever fills the survey fills it because of certain, they don't like the thing or they love it. It's pretty skewed. The second method was using things like Google Analytics or something and trying to understand 50 metrics, 100 metrics, all, and humanly try to bisect and segment and see who does what and try to make a head or tail. What we have done is taken this art into a science and into mathematics, and actually take on all these 50 or 100 variables, which represent an engagement, like time on page, number of times visited, is it a new visitor or old visitor, what did you search, how many times you search, when did you exit, how long you were there, all of that. And we attach dynamic weights based on each engagement. So weights are attached dynamically to each variable. And by some magic algorithm which we invented, it all converges to one number between 0 to 100. So basically, higher the score, more is the engagement you had on the website. Now, what's the premise? Why is it useful? Okay, great. So I know that a lot of people have my overall engagement is 30, but 1,000 people, 100 of them had a score of about 50 and so on. So what does it do for me? That's the first question you were asked. Okay, we get a score of. So our attempt was then to see if there was a correlation between this score and something which is tangible to the business. So for example, the e-commerce world is conversion rate, which means the number of visitors who come to a website, how many actually converted to become buyers. Okay, so typically, if you don't, in e-commerce, worldwide average is 1.5%. That's only 15 or 1,000 buy. So what was the 985 doing? So why did the 15 buy? Why did the 985 not buy? How can I make the 985 buy? Is what is the holy grail. If people can get 15 more of those 985 to buy, you double your sales, right? That's simple mathematics. And everybody is trying to do that. So we are trying to do it very differently by saying, oh, okay, the reason why only 15 purchase is because the DXI score is only 20 or 100 for all visitors. If you want 30 to buy, the score has to go to 30 or 35. And here's how. Here are 10 things you need to do using machine learning and AI to take the score from 20 to 30, which means more people are engaged. When more people are engaged, there's a greater propensity to buy. And if there's a greater propensity to buy, more likelihood of buying, and it results in sales and results in profit. The other advantage is that by knowing those people who are high DXI and targeting them, if you have 1,000 visitors, all you want are 15 more to buy, let's say. So why target all the 985? It costs a lot of money, right? Instead of that, target only those 100 who have a high DXI. You have a higher probability of succeeding because you're targeting according to their needs. 2, your lower cost. And 3, because they're already high DXI, which they're highly engaged, they're not looking for discounts. If they're looking for discounts, it's a different thing. They probably maybe looking for something else, like information. They want to know what shoe I should wear for running versus walking. So they're looking for information. And if that information is provided, maybe they'll buy without a discount or a small discount. And we actually found in the company that 33% increase happened to DXI in conversions. There was a 33% increase in sales and a 50% increase in profitability because the discounts were dropped substantially. So there was a top line and a bottom line increase in DXI, and there's a direct correlation between DXI and, say, conversion. That's how it works.
And does that mean that if I'm having my e-commerce website right now with a, let's say, a 2% conversion rate, by including this system, will it automatically increase my conversion rates, or is this just going to measure them for me?
No, initially it will measure, it will give you an estimate of what is the correlation. It gives you a correlation between DXI and conversions, and sees whether there is a trend between higher DXI and higher conversions. So if you have 1,000 visitors, it'll say it'll rank them by, let's say the highest DXI visitor was 75, lowest was 5, and the average was 30 for everybody. It'll do 75, 65, 55, it'll put them in 10 percentile buckets, and it'll start searching. Okay, the people who were 65 to 75 had a 6% conversion rate. The people who were 45 to 55 had 3% conversion rate. The people who had 25 to 35 had 1%, and less than 25 had 0, and the overall was 2%. Okay, so it'll plot a curve. Next, it will, once the correlation is successfully positive, as we see, then you have a measure of its, you have what's called a surrogate for conversion. This conversion is after the fact. It's after the event has happened. So you're already finished, you can't change it, now it's only post-mortem. But having a surrogate, which is in advance, means you can actually influence the visitors while they are there, so that you can increase conversions without losing them or leaving the website. So that's what DXI enables. So now, in order to do that, it will suggest 5 or 10 insights or recommendations which need to be carried out by it's not magic. There's some science behind it. So then a digital marketer or a marketing group will have to figure out, okay, these 5 pages, these 5 goals, these 5 tasks are most critical. Okay, what do I do to make the experience better? They may have to do A/B testing or whatever to do on those content so that people are more engaged and they go towards conversions.
So is this the DXI, the Digital Experience Index, is it completely unique?
Yes, so far we have not seen anybody who has a DXI.
And those, it's going to give me the best examples of things I can do to improve the experience of people on my e-commerce site.
Right.
All this is, of course, mathematical.
Right. It uses machine learning and AI, but it's all on the back end. The mathematics, the AI are never seen by the user.
Yeah.
What comes out are basically insights, recommendations. For example, these 5 pages are critical. These goals are critical. For example, in a shoe store, we found that contact the store locator, the amount of searches, the depth of search were more important. Which means people were searching for a lot of information about the shoes. So the more easier to make the search process in your website, more likely they'll find what they want to buy and more likely they'll buy. That is sort of insight it gives.
And how is it going to work when I have it on my site? Am I going to get any information from it? Let's say if I have a repeat customer, it's going to know that is the same person, or at least the same computer.
So there are 2 ways of doing it. One is if the person logs in, then it's automatically known because you have, the other way is to a cookie or IP address or so. So that's and we also have a real-time version of it. However, we use our data sources, by the way, we don't use any personal information. So we don't violate any privacy laws. We don't ask for any personal information. We only look at engagement. We don't even know if you're a man or a woman or what. We just look at your ID number 1 and you're looking at these things. Now, basically, we use what's called data from Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, or any of those for ready-made data. So that means the data, whatever is supplied to us, becomes the source of our algorithms. If the data is good, our results are good. If the data is bad, it's trash. We also have our own pixel, which can be embedded onto your website to give real-time recommendations. Now that's critical. If you want real-time recommendations, then you have to use our pixel because through Google Analytics and everything, it's basically after the fact. But it's still useful. For large companies, they really care for broad picture. But for small companies, every visitor becomes important. You only have five buyers in a day. One more buyer is 20% more in conversion, right?
Yes.
So, but for a company like AT&T or a large company like Amazon, they have 1 million buyers in a day. One more buyer doesn't matter. So I think what they really care for is the macro perspective. For small companies, they care for micro perspective.
And will this be something that would be used at a bigger scale, for example, like the giant Amazon, or smaller?
Oh, yeah. It's usable across the board. I'm sure Amazon and Walmart, they have their own technologies, but they don't have a DXI score. And ours is integrated to Salesforce or any or HubSpot or any of those automation tools, so that you can automate marketing also.
And do you have any option or a plan to, let's say, integrate that with my Facebook pixel so I can retarget them on Facebook if needed?
Well, the answer is yes, but we haven't done it. We have, by the way, we are able to use, we are able to see if your website has your Facebook page and you have reactions and comments, we can take that data and give you a social media index too. So you'll have a DXI, you have SMI. If you have a mobile app, we give you a mobile DXI. So you have three levels. You can see, oh, so my DXI score is high, but social media is low. It means that my website is performing very well, but what's happening afterwards. It could be your delivery, it could be your quality, it could be your the competition, it could be your customer service, it could be your returns. All of that is sucks. So your social media index will give you an idea of what's going right or wrong in addition to DXI. So we do all that.
And now, how is this measured, the DXI, for example, from site to site? Will that information on, I don't know if it's an IP or
No,
is
we
it?
don't. At this point of time, we don't mix. Two companies' information. So that's private. So they're all separate. So basically, we will know, for example, company A and company B scores. There may be competition, there may be suppliers, but the data is not much. At some point in the future, we have parts to compare, but right now it is each company's at each site of the company has a separate ID.
Okay, so basically the data captured from my site is to use on my site only.
Exactly.
Okay, nice. And of course, something like that, it's is it going to cost a fortune
No.
to us users?
So, no. So basically, we have two levels of so we have two levels of subscriptions. So one level of subscription basically is called the gold package, which is simple machine learning and analytics, and that costs only $650 per month. And basically, it costs 65 cents for every 100 visitors per month for data feed. That means you have a large data. If you have 1 million data points, you pay more. If you have 1,000 data points, you pay less. So basically, you pay by use. That's it. But we also have advanced machine learning, which is basically more like putting a data scientist in a box. Okay, and that's $5,000 a month. So, but still, it's much cheaper than having a data scientist who costs maybe $250,000 a year. So it's still much cheaper. So it all depends upon what is the level of sophistication technology is required for your business. Most small and medium business can get away with $1,000 a month, and large companies will pay about 3-4 times more than that.
Okay, and when it comes to conversion rates, of course, you've been doing all the testing and measurements. What is an average increase that I would see on a normal site?
I think I would be conservative that at 25% is very realistic. Okay, I would not go and say 100% or 200%. It's possible, but it's not going to happen in one step. It's going to be incremental. So you got to go with a 25%. Say, right now you are at 2%. Can I be at 2.5%? That's the first goal, and then from there, can I go to 3%? So you can't say, oh, I want at 2%. I want to go 5% right now. That's like asking for the earth, moon, and sky at the same time.
Of course. And why is the management, the founding team of DXI, so unique and capable of doing this?
Well, I think we have a great team. So we have two phenomenal scientists, with modesty included me and David Dodds, who have been the founders and who wrote the algorithm and who understand the machine learning part very well. And we have a sales and marketing team of Justin, Josh, and Rita, who understand the science, who understand the customers and their needs very well. And it's basically a combination of we five who bring this all together. And we have a technology team which does the background work. So we believe we are very uniquely poised because we understand both the science and the art of e-commerce.
Yeah. And have you received funding so far, or is it self-funded?
Yeah, we have raised over $1 million in funding. We are raising Series A right now. We're talking to different investors. We are interested. We have been basically just received three awards. CIO Applications Magazine has named us as top 25 AI technology. CIO Review Magazine has named us as top 20 most promising technology. Silicon Review has named us as the top 50 most promising worldwide technology. And Voyage Atlanta has named us as #1 hidden gem of Atlanta. So we have received rave reviews of the technology of the company in the last 2 months. All has happened in the last 2 months. The 4 of us. The 4 awards in the last 2 months.
Yes, it seems like you're on track to have something really big here in your hands.
Yeah, we hope so, and we seek. Yes, we are hopeful.
And as of right now, like we talked about earlier, it is unique. So there is no competition
Not
around.
exactly the same. There are companies who do bits and pieces of this similar, but without a score, yeah, but it's not exactly the same.
Have you secured any way to try to keep it unique?
Yeah, so we have filed for a patent.
Yeah, okay. Very good. It's pending right now?
Yeah.
Very good. And now that this is really fantastic because I am a commerce person. I've been doing e-commerce since 1997. So it is something really fascinating for me. Where can people find this this software? Is it completely ready right now?
Yes, it's completely ready. So please go to dxilogy.com, and there's a way to have basically get a demo, and our sales team will immediately respond. And there's a way, and we could also give a guide as to how it can be used. And it's a SaaS as a service. So it's a SaaS, so it requires no implementation. Virtually all we need is read access on the Google Analytics data. So half an hour to an hour of effort at the most to get it running.
Very good. Very good. So I'll put that on the show notes. It's DXILOGY.com,
and you'll get a way to find, and we'll find you with that. Yeah.
Very good. Srinivas, you're a book reader?
Yes, very much so.
What are some of the best that have helped you throughout your life?
Well, I've read, quite a few books. I'm more of a fiction reader. I think I like reading a lot of books on John Grisham, and I try to understand the way he writes, his thought process, very much, Jason Bourne series, and yeah. So I don't do a lot of non-fiction yet. Don't have time for that yet, but it's yeah. But Grisham books, it helps me to be very methodical in my thinking. And make sure that you look at details, because everything lies in the details. I don't like to use the word devil, but it's everything lies in the details, and execution is key. Ideas can be great, but execution is key. It's more important to execute, otherwise you're going to fail.
Yes, sir, that is amazing. So, for people to find you besides DXology,
so I have a LinkedIn profile. I think you can see me there. LinkedIn with Srinivas Kilambi, and it's pretty visible. And I have a Facebook and Twitter account too. So basically, Srinivas Kilambi Facebook, or Srinivas Kilambi on LinkedIn and Twitter is pretty visible. And or you can do a Google search of me, and you'll probably find a lot of articles about my past and what I've done.
Yes, true enough. I've seen thousands of those when I was doing some research. That is really, really impressive. So everybody, this is Srinivas Kilambi, and I want to thank you very much for your time. I know your time is very precious, so I appreciate it. And I'll be one of your customers, and I will be checking out your software as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir, and thanks all for listening, and have a wonderful best day.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks for subscribing to Fail Fast Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a review and visit failfastpodcast.com for show notes, Quinn's social media, or even to tell us your story.